Hey guys, back again. Today we're going to discuss goals. Now, we have discussed belief, imagination, success, but it really comes down to at the end of the day where the rubber hits the road, we have to set a goal. So you guys are required to set a goal. What is your goal through the body transformation process that we're going to be embarking on, that we're going to be going across for the next 5.5 or so months? Okay. So we are going to be starting to solidify what your goal is. So let's discuss goals a little bit, because in the past, most people are incredibly familiar with SMART goals. Okay. So those specific, measurable, attainable, realistic, and time-oriented goals. Now, there's absolutely nothing wrong with SMART goals, but I want to challenge your creative process, and I want to challenge your thought process on what goals can be and why we hold goals. Now, in many cases, I have said this in the past, that goals are not meant to get, goals are meant to grow. And I've stated this in another video that when I first heard that quote, I never understood that very much. I always thought that, well, isn't that the entire purpose of a goal, is to get it? And the answer is yes, but no. Yes, you want to achieve your goal, but the most important aspect of that quote and the most important aspects of goals is that they require you to grow. Okay. So one, the goal grows. So as you grow, the goal will move. It becomes a moving target later on, but the goal will grow. But more importantly, it's you. It's you that grows. It requires you to stretch, to grow, to be creative, to step out of the box of comfort that we all live in and achieve something greater. That is what goals are for. Goals are not designed to get, goals are designed to grow. So what we're going to do, and this is we're going to talk about the A, B, and C goals. Now, this is something from Bob Proctor that he talked about. Now, one of his classic quotes was, if you can see the goal in your mind, then you can hold it in your hand. Now, if you have truly internalized all of the things that we said about limiting belief factors, imagination, and success, if you start to really analyze those things, not just listen to the videos and move on, but really study those things, really start to kind of work through those processes, get in your workbook, get some scrap pieces of paper out to the side and really start to work through those things and dig deeper than you ever imagined you could or that you've ever done in the past, you'll start to realize the power of the imagination. Remember, we said whatever's created in the world has been created twice, once in the imagination, once in its physical form. So at the end of the day, what we want you to do is create that visual of what you want to achieve, what your goals are, create them in your imagination, create them in your mind, and then we will create them in their physical form in the new you in the future. Okay. So when you truly understand some of these concepts, you'll start to realize why that statement that Bob made, if you can see it in your mind, then you can hold it in your hand. So if you can create it in the visual, in your imagination, then it will create, and it will inevitably, through universal law, become form in the physical. Okay. Now, we're going to dive off that stuff for a second. And we're just going to go into explanations of the three goals, A, B, and C. Now, a goal is simply put something that you have done before. It's a no goal, so something that you know you can do. So I have a couple examples of this, and I've had this happen in the gym many times. People say, "Yeah, I'd really like to squat 405." Cool. What's your squat right now? Well, I did 405 last week. It's like, you did 405 last week. Well, what kind of a goal is to set the goal to something you've already accomplished? That's not a goal. That's not a goal at all. You just have to do it. Okay. Now, I've also had people do this. They say, well, I want to squat 405. Good. Excellent. So what's your current squat? Well, I haven't tested for a while, but in our last training cycle, I did 395 for a triple. It's like, you did 395 for a triple, and now you want 405 for a single. Again, a very bad goal. Why? Because we know that if you can do 395 for a triple, that your 1RM is much higher than that. It's actually more likely 415 or 425. And we know this through just basic science and 1RM calculations. So again, a poor goal. You're setting your expectations and your heights so low that maybe they become too achievable. And they are too achievable. We have to push the limits. That doesn't require you to stretch. That doesn't require you to grow. That doesn't require you to learn or educate or do anything. All you have to do is show up to the damn gym and do it, because we already know you can. So that's what an A goal is, something that you know how to do or something that you've previously done in the past. Then if you go to a B goal, which is a what you think you can do, then that's a slightly better goal, but it doesn't again require you to stretch. So a good example might be that individual has a goal of has a current 395 for a triple squat, wants to say, I want to squat 425. Well, that's not really a great goal for two reasons. One, we might actually be really close to it for a single anyhow, maybe not. But in order to achieve it, we can already see how you have to do that. Just one more squat cycle, one more month of consistent programming, one more month of consistently hitting the gym, and you can have that, right? So again, it's a small goal. Maybe it's a tiered goal that leads to a bigger goal, but it's not a goal. A real goal would be if that individual said, I want to squat 500. Now we have to stop. Now it creates the ability for the imagination to flow. Well, how are you going to do 500? You don't know. But remember, we've said this forever. They know they're here. They want to go here. We create and build the gap over time. But how do we do that? It requires that individual to stretch. So now all of a sudden, it opens up a conversation with a coach. I need a squatting program. It opens up the requirements of good nutrition, good sleeping, and good hydration to make sure that we're actually going to achieve that. It opens up the ability to actually understand that consistency in the gym is incredibly important, right? And that every single set that's done is done with purpose. Now, we're not interested in squatting 500. We're committed to squatting 500. And when that decision is made, now that C-type goal, that desire, that want goal of 500 can now be achieved. And you are on the path to success. So we set our goals big. We want them to be big solely to force you to stretch. You've got to stretch past where you are right now. I need you to get uncomfortable. Okay, this was a classic statement from a former mentor of mine, James Fitzgerald. Many of you guys know him as OPT or OPEX, won the original CrossFit Games. He was my original coach. And when I worked with him, he always said, Chad, you've got to get comfortable with being uncomfortable. You guys, many of you guys are in the sport of CrossFit. You know what that means. Okay, you've got to be uncomfortable. If you want it to be an easy workout, something that's not going to challenge you, CrossFit's not for you. But if you know that getting uncomfortable is what breeds success and builds performance, then you've got to chase it. And that's exactly what these goals are designed to do. We want you to set a big goal that you don't know how you can achieve. You don't know how you're going to achieve it, but God damn it, you know you're going to. You know you will achieve the goal that you want. That's the decision. That's what we have to create. And now we start doing all the things it takes to require to get there. So you trust the coaches, you trust the process, but set a big goal. Okay. And we walk into this. Now, most people in life, when you go through your goal, participants guide, there's a little image that has a little circle with the A and B. Now, most people live inside of what they think they can do and what they know they can do. They'll reach themselves out just a little bit, say, yeah, I think I could do that. And then they just sit there and spin back and forth between what they think they can do and what they know they can do, what they think they can do and what they know they can do. And again, they become their biggest barriers to success. So maybe it's the limiting belief systems that are part of that. That's part of it. Or they just don't allow themselves to dream. They don't allow themselves to use their imagination to say, what is the possibility? What is my possibility? What are my limitations? Where can I go with this? And that is exactly what I want you to do, is challenge that. Move to that C-type goal, that want, that desire. That's what we want you to do. I want you to push yourself, okay? Make yourself uncomfortable. A C-type goal is required that it makes you uncomfortable. It makes you very, very excited. Like, yeah, that's going to be amazing. / oh my God, how am I going to do that? That when you feel that, then you know that you have the C-type goal, because that's what we're chasing. And what it does when I talked about being stressed or stretched, it creates and invites the creative process. So now you have to use your imagination. You have to become creative. That is what growing is all about. So goals are not meant to get, they're meant to grow. And in order to grow, you have to be creative. So in our image, we have the want, the theory, the fact. So the very first thing is we create the want, the goal, the desire. What is the main thing that's behind all of this? You worked through that in your imagination charts. You worked through that in your belief system charts. What do you want? What is it that you're trying to achieve? Create that as your goal, your want goal, okay? That want then becomes a theory, which is the C goal, okay? So that is becoming a theory. It's just living up here in your conscious mind. It's simply an idea, okay? So the goal becomes the idea, but the idea becomes fact. It becomes form in the physical realm through your creative process. So you only have to ask yourself 2 questions. Are you willing? And are you able? And of course, the answers to those 2 questions should inevitably yes. You are willing. Of course, you're willing. You're here, you're paying for these services. You're also working through these processes. Now, are you able? That goes back to your belief systems. Do you believe that you can achieve it? If you don't, you're not going to achieve it. But if you believe you can achieve it and you continue to work through your imagination and continue to build those visions, then it's inevitable that you will attain it. And you do it through the creative process. A want or a desire created into a theory, a C-type goal, which is then built and created and manifests itself in the physical form in fact. Okay. Now, with all that said, I always get wound up when I talk about goals. It's always good stuff. Okay. Sorry. Now, the next step in your participants guide is to start creating a wants list. Now, you did do in your former writing a little bit of a why. So why are you doing what you're doing and why does it matter to you? This is the foundation for developing your desires, developing your goals. Is why are you doing this? This will be a major motivator as you go through this. Now you get to dream. You get to truly expand your imagination. What do you want? Okay. So in this case, when it comes to health, fitness, whatever it is, you can expand outside of just weight loss or body transformation for a little bit right now if you wish. I want to ask you, what do you want? And you have to be honest with yourself. What do you really, really want? Make a list. It doesn't matter. This is a brainstorming session. Okay. Throw it all on the paper. Everything. Some of it might not make sense. Some might. Just throw it down. Okay. Don't hold back. Be as creative as possible. Just dump it all on the chart. Put everything into your wants list. Once you've done that, that might not just be a 5-minute task. That might take you a few days where you're working through this, adding through it. And you'll realize that as you're driving around or at work or doing whatever you're doing, things are going to pop into your mind. Write them in your phone, bring it home, write it into your wants list. Okay. Continue to develop a greater and greater wants list. Then when you're done that, I'd like you to try and rank order of importance all of your wants. So put them in an order. Now that might be a challenging task for some, but there'll be some that stick out much more than others. Put them to the top of the list. So start putting them in piles of importance, okay? The most important, the least important. Kind of interesting, but somewhere in between. Then take each one of those piles and then make them into a desired list of wants, okay? Continue creating that. And the whole idea here is that you're continuing to expand your imagination, using your higher faculties to try and figure out why you're doing what you're doing and what it looks like and why that's important to you. And this will become another method of creating and expanding upon that clearer vision that we started creating earlier in other sections, okay? Then once you've done all that, your last homework task, okay, for this section is to write out a want manifesto, a personal want manifesto. So this is done in the present tense. This is not done as a want list of what you want right now. It's a story, a description of you already in possession, so in the present tense, of all of the wants and the goals that you have laid out previously in your list. So you write a story or you write a description and be as thorough as you can. Many people have used multiple pages. I've only given you a page here. Many people have used multiple pages to do this, to write out their wants manifesto. So essentially a story of what you desire, how you want to see it in the present tense. So I have a printout here. I'm going to quickly see if I can find this. So describe what is you want and put it into text. So on here, I am so happy and grateful now. Okay, and then fill in the blank afterwards. It's very important that you give all your mental energy to building your image of the good and the outcomes that you desire. In this case, the body transformation that you desire. It's very important you take time to spend as much mental energy as possible on developing that. Begin to think about these wants as if they, as in the image in your mind. So we've talked about imagination, visualization. Continue to develop these wants in imagination, right? Write these wants existing in your life in the present tense. See yourself in possession of whatever it is that you want, okay? So this might be that feeling, the emotion, the body. Use as many of the senses as you can. How does it feel? How does it smell? What does it taste like? Whatever it might be. I don't know how that's going to work, but put all your senses in, okay, to this, and write out a I am so happy and grateful now that wants manifesto. Okay. Now, once you've done this, your homework task for the week is obviously to continue tracking all your nutrients, doing your measurements, doing all the things. Every morning when you get up, you read your wants manifesto. You read your present tense story of the body, the persona, the individual that you will become. You read this every single day. This is part of your motivation. It's part of instilling this into your mind. We need to impress this image, this idea, this concept onto your subconscious mind as hard and as frequently as we can. So if you find yourself struggling with motivation, read your story over and over again. Put in Audible into your phone if you wish, into an audio recording, or into a text message or audio to text message, if you will. Whatever you need to do, use this as part of your imagination, but yet your creative process. So let your creative faculties roll within this process. This will take you some time, and it's something you can return to. Every single one of these tasks that we lay out in the Quantum Leap is meant to be something that is reworded, rewritten, rethought of, whatever it is, but completely redone. So you keep coming back to these things because they create those desires within you. But again, they harness and they build that creative process that is so dang important to your success. Goals. I want you to create a C-type goal, and I want you to create it into a wants manifesto. Next week, we're going to start talking about the goal card and how we can expand upon that. But this week, you're going to create a wants manifesto by manifesting and utilizing your creative process, and have fun with this, guys. Okay. This is a fun process if you allow it to be. So have some fun, guys. We'll see you soon.